what his plan and his will is. He's now using it to show me what it's going to be like in the future. Amen.
I dreamed a dream shortly after my 50th birthday of me laying outside on a grassy hill one night. The darkness was just beginning to break. The morning air was cold and brisk as a foggy mist was rising from the earth. The night had proven to be a bitter one, as I was buried under my many layers of covers and a big heavy coat. In addition, to offset the chilly cold, there was a wood fire that was lit that I lay very close to. As I lay, I felt the presence of a companion approach upon me, so I awakened to see who it may have been. I assumed it was my new bride approaching, but because the darkness was still very prevalent at that early hour of the morning, I could not make out who or even what it was until it got closer to me. As it stood near my feet, I could see that it was a canine and appeared to be a husky. He was obviously cold and seeking the warmth of my well-lit fire. There was no aggression in him whatsoever, so he seemed harmless enough. He continued to come closer as he sniffed and began eyeing my covers. I could see he was weary from his journey up to the top of the hill and wanted to lay down beside me. I bid for him to come, and just as he was crouching to lay down beside me, I could see in the distance behind him that there was another canine who had traveled with him, and it was just beyond the gate of my land. The sun was beginning to rise and the light started to shine in the darkness. And it was then that I realized that the canine outside of my gate was actually a wolf. I thought to myself, so this one in front of me must also be a wolf. But he was docile and apprehensive. He seemed humbled from his experience in the wild, and so I thought he must be harmless. As soon as I entertained that thought, the calm voice of a male spoke to me and said very plainly and very simply, "But he's still a wolf." I began to destroy the wolf. Though docile and with no resistance whatsoever, I overpowered it by subduing its mouth. My attack was with the vigor of a destroyer whose demolition of this beast was based off of what it was, not what it could become. Thereafter, the wolf laid at my feet and rested there. Daybreak had finally come, and as I gazed into the distance, the other wolf outside the gate looked upon me, turned away, and returned from whence it came. The Apostle Paul once wrote that he had battles from without, but that he also had battles from within. There will always be many of wearied souls who will approach, seeking, searching for the comforts of your fire, none considering that your desperation to produce it was born out of the necessity to survive a hazardous environment. Well-meaning at heart, yet they have attached themselves to those who no longer are a part of their sojourn. Thus, In their bitterness, they grope in misery as they enviously watch from beyond the gate of your long sought after solace, whimpering, whining, wailing, while waiting for the opportunity to attack. They find contentment while pacing and anticipating that somehow you will arrive at the discovery that even those whom you hold the dearest have the capacity to be like them, and ultimately they'll put your fire out. Though this they may wish, yet they fail to comprehend that your ferocity and velocity were developed in the woods of weeping and under the brisk blowing winds of life. No enemy, neither any friend, will violate this safe space. All else can watch from beyond the gate where the wolf awaits them. Children, beware of wolves.